Good afternoon. How are you?
We're doing great. How's everybody doing in this Zoom environment?
We're getting used to it.
At times it's good. At other times it's not as good not meeting in person. But we have to do what we have to do right now. So.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for taking the time to meet with us today. My name is Tiffany Esposito. I'm the CEO of the Bonita Springs Chamber, and we are the Southwest Florida Alliance of Chambers. I know you know some, if not all of us on this call today. We represent 6,000 businesses and 300,000 residents and constituents in Lee and Collier counties. We are recording this interview, and we'll be posting it to our websites and our social media. So again, thanks for taking the time to be with us today. Thanks,
Tiffany. Appreciate you doing it.
Before we get started, we'll go ahead and have everybody introduce themselves, and then we just have a few brief questions for you.
Okay.
Colleen, Donna, Michael, then Chris.
Good morning. My name is Colleen DePasquale, and I'm with the Greater Fort Myers Chamber of Commerce. Thank you for being here this morning.
Hi, Colleen.
Hi, my name is Donna Germain. I'm the President and CEO of the Chamber of Commerce of Cape Coral. Thank you for being with us.
Thanks, Donna.
Hi, Rep Rommel. I'm Michael Dolby. I'm the President and CEO of the Greater Naples Chamber.
Hey, Michael. Good seeing you again.
See you.
And we have Chris on the phone with us.
Hey, sorry. Good afternoon, Rep Rommel. This is Chris Lopez. I am the chairman of the Southwest Florida Chamber, as well as I consult with the Alliance. Great to have you here.
Good seeing you, or not seeing you, Chris. Good talking.
So we'll kick it off, and we'll just ask you to tell us a little bit about yourself.
Bob Rommel. I represent District 106, which is the coastal area of Collier County from Everglades City to Bonita Beach Road. Been in the Florida House for 4 years now, running for my third term. It's been great actually being there, fighting, for all Floridians, businesses and constituents alike. And, we have some, amazing challenges coming forward, but luckily we're in the state of Florida and, we've been fiscally conservative. And when we get through this pandemic, I think we'll see our economy come back. And that's really it. Besides being an elected official, I've been an entrepreneur for the last, 35 years of my life. And a few years decided to get involved in serving the public. I was told it was a part-time job, but that's not true. But it's very rewarding.
And what prompted you to continue to run for office?
Once you get there, you see things that you can't get done in 1 year or 2 years, and it takes time. You have to get a consensus of, other individuals, elected officials, whether they're Democrats or Republicans, sometimes to get things done. And there's more things to get done. And, and right now we are definitely in a time of crisis. And even if we weren't in a time of crisis, I would have run, but we need to continue to have good leaders that understand that there's a balance. And, but, we are going to have some definite financial challenges coming forward. I want to make sure that I'm there to, help everybody get through this pandemic.
Great. What makes you qualified to represent the business community?
I'm one of the few legislators that's actually signed the front of paychecks for the last 35 years. Over the last 35 years, I've had a couple thousand employees, multiple businesses. And, and I understand, in business, it's not just keeping customers happy, you have to keep employees happy. I've actually had people working for me today that worked in other industries, 30 years ago. I have, a pretty good following in the business community too, that people, I guess I've treated them well and, given them an opportunity to grow, and they're still with me.
In your opinion, what is the most pressing issue facing the Southwest Florida business community? And if reelected, what would you do to address this issue?
Well, currently, everybody, it's the, the COVID pandemic. There's a balance between protecting individual from, this virus and also allowing people to go earn a living. Nobody's dealt with pandemics before, anything like this on this global scale. But I do know that still the number one killer of everybody in the world is poverty. And if people don't go back to work and we can't figure out how to work with this virus, whatever the effect of the virus is not going to be as great as the economic hardship that we're going to see. So, we all want everybody to be safe as possible. And as we see the positive cases, the uptick, we have to be careful, but there's some positive sign there too, that the hospitalization rate is actually lower than it was in April, and the death rate continues to fall. So there's a balance of individuals protecting themselves, government doing what they can to protect them, but if we don't work, it's in the end, the harm will be much greater.
Thank you. So as you know, Southwest Florida's economy is heavily dependent on hospitality and leisure sectors. If re-elected, what would you do to encourage economic diversification in the region?
That's a great question. And, in Florida, we still have to remember, we have three really major industries. We have agriculture, we have housing, and we have hospitality. And we are seeing diversification. Even here in Southwest Florida, we see Arthrex. They're one of the largest medical device makers in the world. They're coming here. We see financial services coming here, but still, we need to do a lot to just protect the industries that we have here. We need to make sure that we have more skilled workers to fix the homes that we have, to fix the automobiles that we have. They're great high-paying jobs. An auto mechanic or an air conditioning mechanic can make $75,000 or $100,000 a year, but we need to make sure those people are properly trained too, and continuing, to do high-tech things like that, and continue to encourage financial services to come to Florida, because we have 1,000 people a day moving here, and a lot of those are coming, wealthier people that are coming from high-tech states that are poorly run. So this, there's tremendous amount of opportunity. Right now for the next, could be a year or I don't, I can't predict how long it'll take. We have to survive this pandemic. And then, keep improving our education system. Florida right now, we're ranked #1 in state universities around the nation, and we're ranked 4th in K-12 education. So Florida's done an amazing job improving our education system, and I think that's one of the reasons people are moving here too. We've always had great beaches and great resorts, but we didn't have 1,000 people a day moving here, and they're not just moving here because of beaches. They're moving here because of our education and our healthcare systems too.
So this group was formed in 2018 out of the water crisis that we were experiencing, and water quality was and remains our #1 priority. If re-elected, what specific projects would you advocate for to improve and protect Southwest Florida's water quality?
That's a great question. It's an easy question. I would say before we advocate for new programs, we have to continue the programs that started in 1999 with the Everglades Restoration Program. And, even this year when we're advocating in Tallahassee and in Washington for funding, if we remember, the main programs were approved in 1999, and they were supposed to be equally funded from the federal government and state of Florida. State of Florida put up their money every year, and the federal government until 2 years ago didn't do anything. And, there's reasons. We had a terrorist attack in 2001. We had a 10-year war that cost $10 trillion. We had the economic collapse of 2008. And all these projects, they need money. And if we don't get the economy going, unfortunately, even we saw yesterday, the governor had to veto $1 billion in project because, in the state of Florida, we have to have a balanced budget, period. That's in the Constitution. So we need to get the economy going and continue those projects are there. And then, look forward once we complete those projects, what other things that we can do to improve water quality, whether it's, septic to sewer conversions, new water treatment plants, better utilization of fertilization, and all those things are, definitely on the horizon. But the biggest projects that will affect us here is, completion of the reservoir, south of Lake O, building a new reservoir north of Lake O, and completing all those projects. But, all those projects will need money. And, unfortunately, not just here in Florida, the entire world has, we don't know what the economic fallout is, but, my job is to continue to advocate for those projects on the books and then look forward to which ones we can improve upon.
Thank you. Along those same lines, what specific actions do you think lawmakers should take to improve and protect Southwest Florida's waterways?
I think we've done them. And right now we just have to continue to fund the projects that are on the books. I don't know what anything else that we can do until we can measure the results of the projects that, we've been going full steam ahead now for the past 2 or 3 years. And actually most of them have been on the books since, like I said, 1999, but we had about a 12 or 13 year loss of opportunity to get funding from the federal government. And but we have to continue those projects. And I'm not sure, as science develops, other ways to improve water quality, we'll look at them. But the biggest thing is to continue to fix those projects and get those done, because they're the big projects. They're the ones that will make a difference as soon as they're done.
Thank you. So one last question: is there anything else you'd like us to know about you or your priorities?
That's another great question. People say, what are your priorities for 2020, assuming you're reelected? And going to each session, I have not had an individual priority. This session I actually made that with this whole COVID response, we've already seen, I call them some of the bad actors. They may consider themselves, protecting, workers or individuals. We do have to do something about COVID liability. Nobody's ever had to deal with this. And again, people have to go and have some type of normal life, whether it's work or recreation. And unfortunately, people are going to be infected. And, fortunately, a very, very small percentage of people get seriously sick or die. But we need to make sure that businesses aren't going to have years and years of litigation because people worked and somebody can try to blame them getting the virus, or take that any other disease because they went to work or they went to the supermarket or a hotel. I mean, we live in a society when you take risk every day just driving your car or, riding your bicycle. And unfortunately with this COVID, there's individual risks that you're going to take when you go out. You do what you can to wear a mask and wash your hands and do that. But, there are some bad actors that are actually having seminars on how to sue businesses, how to sue government, because they, may have contracted the virus. So that's something we're going to have to probably look at immediately. I know Washington, D.C. is looking at that, but anything they pass in Washington really wouldn't affect the, courts in the state of Florida. And it's a shame that when we do have these crises, that we do have individuals that are looking to take advantage and, in my opinion, harm businesses more than harm individuals.
Great. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us today. We really appreciate it, and we wish you luck in the election.
Thanks, Tiffany. Thanks, everybody, for joining. Have a safe and happy 4th of July.
You as well.
Thank you.
You too. Thank you.
Thanks, Rep. You too.